What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 6 of Pixel Beast. I'm your host, Jake, and beside me, I have my never rotating second chair, Mr. Elder Shark himself, Alex.
Elder Shark. I
My
hope that didn't come up in the mic. I was reaching back. I never remember to grab something out of my mini fridge, a drink, before we start recording. So it's like literally in the pause before you started your intro, I'm reaching back and I knocked everything out of my mini fridge. It was just collapsing during your intro. I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Good God. Actually, I hope it's in there for a little, if people want to rewind and listen to it again.
it might show up. It might. So like my intro and my outro is 7 seconds long. So like I usually start talking about 5 seconds into the recording. That way it kind of like mellows out. So they might hear it, they might not. Who knows? But
it was like right when you started talking, just
my goal is from that, like for every episode, I'm gonna try my best to have some weird, unique nickname.
Oh, for you or for me?
For you.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I don't even remember what the nicknames were a lot like a week and a half ago, but
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're like Mr. 1K, and I was like, oh hey, that's me.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, then one day it's gonna be like, and today's guest is you know him, the total douche.
The total dick bag.
Total douche, you douche.
You change your YouTube name and everything.
Yeah, to total douche.
It's just a cartoon picture of a douche with giant cartoon like Disney-esque eyes.
Yep. Well, you'll have to draw it for me.
Hey, you know what? I can do that. I'll do that. I'll do another pixel art of your new channel. Wait, seriously though, if I do it, would you change it to that for a day?
April Fools, maybe.
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind. Maybe I'll start working on
dude, people now. They pay attention. You know, they notice that stuff. They the other day I put up a Modern Warfare video, something we're talking about today. But I put up a video and I racked my brain. It took me a while to start the video because I was racking my brain trying to figure out what am I calling this video? Like because I have an idea of what I want to say, but what is this video called? And I decided to go with, because I was going to be comparing 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare to how is Call of Duty 2020 going to stack up against what I believe is one of the best Call of Duties we've had in years. And I was like, well, how do I, and the title I came up with was, why is Call of Duty, wait, what was it? It was, is Call of Duty 2020 going to be as sexy as Modern Warfare? And I liked it. I was like, maybe the word sexy will grab people's attention. Yeah, and so I threw it up, and I got flagged for because I used the word sexy in the title. Yeah. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, changing the channel name for a day, I went back and really quick. I went back because as soon as I uploaded it, it said I made a boo-boo. And I went and I changed the thumbnail. I changed the title. I immediately took the video down, re-uploaded it. Really quick and easy fix, not a big deal. And people were commenting. The first comments on the video were, I thought this was supposed to be a sexy video. Or like, what happened to the original name?
Well, and I just for that one, guys.
And I was like, I just started giving the heart comments to all of those. And I was like, OG cut for life, my dude.
Was that the copyright thing you were talking about, where it got copyright claimed, or was that something different?
It was the same video. I actually had to re-upload the dang thing twice. That's why I went into my community tab and apologized ahead of time. I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to re-upload this again because
I saw that. I saw the final video. I didn't see where you had uploaded it and then took it down. I just saw the last one because I saw the post and then when you re-uploaded it.
I used like an extra second and a half too much of a song, and so I just had to shave that down.
Oh, that's what. Okay, I know which part you're talking about then.
Yeah.
So that's I was wondering when I heard that song. A part of me was like, I wonder if it's because he used too much of it, because you can only use like 7 seconds or something.
They flagged it for like an extra 3 seconds, and so I shaved it down, and then it was good.
Yeah. I think I was okay. I remember now because I remember watching it. I'm like, I bet that part. That's it's been a week and a half since I watched it, so I can't remember exactly what the context was, but I remember it was something. like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was something easy fix, but the whole point was like that people got it quick. So it's like if I change my channel name to Total Douche for a day.
Well, yeah, now you got to be careful. You got to start looking out for that stuff now that you can get ad revenue.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I feel like if I change my channel name to Total Douche for an entire day, I'll probably be hearing douche comments for the rest of the year.
You promised April Fools already. It's on the recording. I'm not taking it out.
I'm not starting over.
But Alex, enough about your failure to commitment. Um, we've got a couple things to talk about today. We've got Call of Duty. You had some news and stuff you want to talk about that
Oh yeah.
about Black Ops. Of course, I want to hear a little bit about Maneater that
Oh
some of it that you've played. But
yeah.
first, I just want to do a quick little Fallout update. Talk
Let's do
about
it.
Fasnacht Day because
Okay, okay. You've been
okay,
texting me about this. Say it again. It's called. I've been trying to pronounce that. I'm like fan Chanart. What? What?
it's Fasnacht.
God bless you.
Gesundheit.
All right. What is Fasnacht?
So it's an event that goes on. It's the second year that it's went on in Fallout 76, where you get a parade together with like different doing like weird little fun activities to get these robots into the parade. Then they switch their heads into like these Fosnot masks. They're like
Uh-huh.
these real fun little masks, and you do a parade around Helvetia in Fallout. It's
Huh.
really fun. It's super easy. And the cool thing about it is that every single time that it starts, the entire like population of the map does the event. So every
Really?
time you come in and you see like 16 players going around, everyone gives each other things and helps out and dances and has a fun time. It's probably one of the best events that they do in my opinion, for Fallout 76, just because of the community aspect that everyone kind of gets involved and has fun with it.
That's what's awesome because you think about like where Fallout 76's multiplayer began, like started, and it was like everyone just wanted to kill each other, and I mean, as natural
Mhm.
with an action RPG game where now you have other players, like, yeah, you want to shoot other people, but now they have events that bring the people that are hardcore enough to still be playing Fallout 76, or the new players that are joining and that are afraid of being trolled and all that stuff, and they give
Yeah.
them these community
And
events where
see,
they can all have a good time.
and that's the cool thing about it because Helvetia is in the low level part of the map. So
Yeah.
it encourages everyone to come in. So like low levels will come in. You'll have all the higher level people come in with, all their weapons, and they kind of help make sure that you complete the event like perfectly, so you get the
Right.
best chance for the best rewards.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's different from a lot of the other events that you can do. So I'm hoping like in the future when they make more events, like Meat Week is another one that they do in August, which is really fun too. But if you have, I don't remember if you did Foshnot the first year or not. If it ends on the 9th, I would highly suggest doing it at least once or twice. It's really fun to see the entire community come together. But the cool thing about it is that you unlock legendary weapons, plans, like Foshnot themed plans, like party plans. But then you also can unlock masks. So they have different rarity masks and everything. But the masks are really cool too. So it's a really fun event.
That's really cool. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's just cool that in a game that's meant for you think people just want to shoot each other and grief each other, and it's like people are coming together to do role playing esque things that like you would expect in a Fallout multiplayer game, and that's
Yeah,
cool stuff.
it's definitely like I said, I would at least get on and try it at least once. It's definitely cool to try it. It's definitely cool to see it. But
Right
the
on.
more interesting thing is that the event is actually based on a real holiday in Pennsylvania, like in that
Really?
region. Yeah. So Foshnot Day, so Fosnot or Foshnot or Fosnot, however you say it, it's actually a type of donut that was created by Pennsylvania Dutch. I guess those were like Germans that came over and landed
You're
in.
listening to this. You're gonna learn something today. God damn it.
It's cool. It's interesting because it's basically a day of gluttony before Ash Wednesday. So
Oh,
it's a day of gluttony where, well, day of gluttony, but it's a day. So a Foshnot's a type of donut that's made, and it's called Foshnot Day. So eat a bunch of like different types of like different types of donut sweets that are called Fasnachts. So they have different types, and you eat those. You just spend the all day eating sweets, and then starting on Ash Wednesday, that's when Lent starts before Easter.
Okay, that's actually
So
pretty. That's
it's
interesting.
it's
That's cool
really
that
cool.
they implement those kinds of things. What word did I just say? Increment. Add this. I'm gonna dumb it
Mhm.
down. That's cool that they add cool stuff like that that are
It's
actually
very
things that they
lore
celebrate
friendly.
in that area. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it's very lore friendly. And I pulled up
Kind of like the
just
Mothman.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's a real. I mean, that's a good example. So I pulled up like an actual kind of explanation, a brief explanation of what it is. I want to read it because it's really interesting. So Fasnacht Day or
Lay it on me.
Fastnacht Day is an annual Pennsylvania Dutch
Fast
celebration that
nut
falls on
day.
Shrove Tuesday, the day before Ash Wednesday. The word translates to fasting night in English. The tradition is to eat the very best foods, which are part of the German tradition, and lots of them before the Lenten fast.
Oh,
Yeah, really cool stuff.
that's pretty neat. That's like
Yeah.
I would have never have guessed that that was actually something that's actually celebrated in the area that the game takes place in.
And
That's
the more
impressive.
interesting thing too is that because Fallout has been so popular, so more people have been, vacationing up in Pennsylvania and West Virginia and stuff,
Right.
and a lot of people have been coming in during Fasnacht, which is in February, because the event started late because of everything going on,
Right.
but like actual Fasnacht starts before Easter for that reason, because it starts on Ash Wednesday. But yeah, people are actually coming in and celebrating this small German tradition from all over the country,
That's
because
awesome.
and that's the other thing I love is that the way that the community has embraced West Virginia and West Virginian lore and all this cool like event type stuff. It's really something. But
Yeah, that's and you think all these people that a flood of them, or at least a good percentage of them, are people that heard about this from Fallout 76.
oh yeah, I
That's
guarantee,
that's
yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
guarantee it's like people that they want to go to the place that they've been exploring for hundreds of hours. They want to go there for real. Like so,
Yeah.
like the White Springs resort that the
Yeah.
White Springs is based off of. People go there and
Wow.
they like tour it because it's
I
an
actually remember,
yeah,
yeah, I remember Todd Howard talking about, I think it was White Springs Resort, particularly, and how like you can go on tours of that place, and they like recreated it like really well. And I
yeah.
remember being like,
Well,
man, that's so cool.
the cool thing they did too was before Fallout uh, released, when they did like the beta where they invited a bunch of streamers and big social media people, they actually did the invitation at White Springs.
Really? That's
Yeah,
right.
like
Yes,
real
that
life White
is
Springs.
right. Yeah, I
So
remember
it's
that.
it's really it's really cool how Bethesda kind of embraced that lore and that part of the country, but it's also really cool how the community in general also embraced all of it also. So when all this weird like tradition type stuff that's been around for hundreds of years, that's realistically probably not as big as it used to be. You have all these younger generations embracing these traditions because of them being uh, shown or showcased in a game like this. So
That's
pretty cool
really
stuff.
cool. That is really cool.
So, that's my little Fallout update. I tried to keep it as short as possible, which is not, 13 minutes. We kind of talked, not too bad.
You come for the Fallout updates, and you learn a lot about like donut and German history and holidays, and if you don't like
Well,
Fallout, you at least learn something.
see, for me personally, I love Fallout and I love Fallout lore. So any sort of like Fallout lore, Fallout history, or anything associated to that, I'm just a huge nerd about, and I'll read up and watch videos and learn about. So that's why I did it, because me personally, I love that stuff. So I researched it myself. Yeah. So that's just who I am. So which subject do you think you have more to say about? Because I want to hear both, either about Call of Duty or Maneater. Both I have hardly any information except the video that I watched a week and a half ago before Memorial Day. But
Got you.
I just want to hear, like, what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with
I
Maneater or Call of Duty?
definitely have more to say about Call of Duty, this year's Call of Duty than Maneater. But that doesn't mean I don't, have anything bad to say about Maneater. So I guess it really comes down to, should we get the short one out of the way first, or just go to the
let's
long one?
let's let's talk about Maneater, because I have a
All
couple
right.
questions about Maneater first, and then we'll spend the last chunk of the podcast talking about Call of Duty, and that way we can kind of take our time with it. So
Right on, man. All right. What's
I
your question
watched
about
your
Maneater?
I watched your Maneater impression video when you were able to get it recorded.
Oh yeah.
And was I right, by the way? Was it because of a release window?
Uh, I believe so. I think that's what it was, because I tried it again the neck that morning, and it unlocked
Mhm.
just fine. So I was like, I bet it was something all around those, like, with what, with the time frames and stuff. But sorry, I'm getting a little tongue tied. I don't want to sound like too much of a millennial, but I dropped my fidget spinner on the floor and I had to pick it up.
Did you grab your iced tea too while you were at it?
Hey, I'm almost out of iced tea. I'm gonna need to grab another one before.
Okay, okay, okay.
But anyway,
Okay,
yeah,
so I really liked your impressions video. It made me want that alone made me want to buy the game. But apart from the technical issues that you were having, because apart from that, how are you liking the game?
Okay. First of all, because I've actually had people, like friends of mine on Facebook, who follow my, like, see my stuff on their community feed. They'll see achievements or whatever I've done. They will. I've had a couple of them come and ask me. They're like, "Hey, you're playing Maneater. How do you like it?" And I was like, "Guys, it's like, this is the thing. You either look at Maneater and you immediately know if you're the type of person. I can't just be like,
Mhm.
yes, Maneater's a fantastic game. Everyone needs to play it. If you look at Maneater and you're like, I wonder if that's going to be fun. That's the thing. You know by
You know it.
looking at
Okay.
it what you're getting into, and if that tickles your fancy, then yeah, you're gonna like it. You're gonna have a good time. I laughed my ass off the entire time playing it, because the more I play, the more ridiculous it gets. I've gotten to the point, like, okay, perfect example. Basically, Maneater, you play as a bull shark. That the beginning of the game, the tutorial, you're playing as a fully grown adult, or not quite fully grown, but an adult,
Which is
and,
hilarious, by the way. How
which is
that all shakes out.
yeah,
I watched that unfold on your video. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah,
This is a revenge story. This
yeah,
is
dude.
this is ridiculous.
But yeah, I guess that's important to go into as well, because it's the way the game delivers itself is just totally unique and funny. But because basically the way it is you play as the game starts. You're playing as a adult bull shark who is ultimately caught by the antagonist, Scaly Pete, and then you're gutted on his live TV show. It's a reality TV show about shark hunters, and it's like complete with hashtags and everything. And he kills you on his TV show, and then drags. It turns out the shark you're playing as was pregnant, and your shark that you're going to be playing as for the rest of the game is the baby. That was because he takes the baby out, slashes it across the face, says that he can recognize it when it's older. It's such a cheesy story. And before he throws the shark out into the pond, it bites his hand off, and it's a revenge story to kill the fisherman that killed your mother.
I can't believe a game like this exists, and I love it. I think we literally I said the same thing last time before it came out, but it's just, I mean, what a time to be alive.
Yeah,
Like, talk about
yeah.
the
You're
golden
like,
age
we're
of
here, we
gaming,
made it.
where you have an RPG video
Shark
game
PG.
where you play a shark in a revenge story.
Yep.
Like, you can't, like, it doesn't get better than that. Like, how
Yeah,
do you top that?
and like, it's funny as hell, because there's like an edginess to it it's really funny. Like if you think about what you're actually seeing, it's hilarious. Like, because I mean, Scaly Pete and the antagonist, they don't think they're being funny. They're dead serious, which makes it funnier to me. But anytime you're not, because basically as you progress through the story, before you leave a region, you'll have to go and watch a cinematic that shows how is the story going for the antagonist. And it goes back to being filmed from the point of view of a reality TV show. You check up on Scaly Pete and you see what's going on with him and his hunt for you. But then anytime you go back to actually playing the game, playing as the shark roaming the free open world, it's imagine, like, the way Tripwire, the dev team that made Maneater, said it, is that imagine that the camera that you're watching, the third person camera, is like a high tech drone that's following a shark around, and it's like a crazy episode of Shark Week, and the whole thing is narrated like National Geographic documentary by the voice actor who voices Jerry from Rick and Morty. And
Yeah,
and
I
then
like
that's
that
your
guy, by the
game.
way. He's really funny.
And it's great. And if I had to compare it, and I thought about this quite a bit, if I had to compare it to any one game, I would probably compare it to Crackdown, just because
Oh,
of the open
okay.
world nature, the building and getting better, because it's you literally level up and get bigger and badder, and then every action you do is being commentated on by some
By
some
Jerry.
voice. Yeah, and I was like, this reminds me of Crackdown, but with more of a sense of humor, because Crackdown was funny, but this is funny, and they know it's funny. They're constantly making jabs at different, political things, and it's great. I'm loving
So
it.
the big question that I have, and this is something that you kind of talked about in the last podcast when you were talking about it, is how does it control? Like
Yeah.
that's the big. I think for a game like this, because it's so unique, the controls have to be tight. So like, how does it control?
Yeah, that was. I think I talked about that in my very first impressions video. That was my chief concern, whether or not this game is going to be any fun, because there's just certain games you get into, and I guess it's worth mentioning this game is only $40. It's almost half the price of a normal game, a little bit more than half the price. But you're basically as a shark. If you're playing as a shark in an open ocean, you're basically it's like gonna have the controls of flying an airplane. It's like that's basically how it's gonna be, and the controls have to be good. They gotta feel good, otherwise the entire game is ruined. I used to play a shark game on the original Xbox, Jaws Unleashed, because I loved Jaws, and I actually still own that game. I have a physical copy of it, but the controls were god awful. It was so frustrating playing that game. So that was definitely my biggest concern going into Maneater is how is this thing going to control? And it controls great. And in the first moments of playing the game, I was doing figure eights around poles, and pillars, and I was like, yeah, get me into the open ocean now. I'm ready to try this out, and it's great. But if I feel like the best way to describe the game, and it's not even really as far as controls, it's like this is a game where I took a side quest to eat a bunch of golfers on the green of a golf course. And in order to do that, I had to jump out of the water, flop across the street. I was about to start suffocating, so I jumped into a swimming pool, got some breath, and then flopped onto the
What?
golf course, going from puddle to puddle until I made it to the green and ate 10 people. And then it's like a
What
GTA
the fuck?
wanted system. The Coast Guard shows up and starts hunting me, and I swim away. That's Maneater.
I
If that caters to
I
you,
I
you
don't
know.
even have a comment. Like that, I mean, it sells me on the game still because I like the idea of a shark like so determined to eat people that it's going to go from puddle to puddle, pool to pool, just to get to some random freaking golf course to
Yes.
maul down 10 people.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. That's it. That's 100% it. I was dodging, like, I was crossing the pavement and then flopped over a picket fence, and then I jumped into a swimming pool, jumped out of the swimming pool, flopped onto the, it is, dude. And that's the thing. It's
so
like, if that sounds like fun to you, then yes, it's fun. That's exactly what you're getting your hands on.
yeah, it definitely sounds like the kind of de-stressor type game,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
kind of like mindless de-stressor. Like I'm gonna jump on and kill a bunch, and eat a bunch of people.
Yeah, dude. And
Like
on
I'll
top
do
of
that for
that,
about 45 minutes and feel better.
oh, dude, and I like that you mentioned that, because it actually, because one of the cool things you can do is, like, you're eating all kinds of animals, and there's people, and then there's also boss fights with apex predators of the region, like orcas and crocodiles and great whites, and but one of the things that, and I mentioned it in my first impressions, I was like, that's really cool, because as a shark, you can let's call it a sprint, but it's like a speed boost, and if you do that speed boost and come out of the water, you breach like a great white shark does on Shark Week, and it's really cool. But say you breach
Oh
as you bite
goodness.
somebody, you can bite somebody and have them in your mouth, and once you're in the air, it's like a Tony Hawk game. You can start doing flips and shit, and you're like, and so yeah, like when you say it's like a mindless de-stress, it's like, dude, you can just swim around for hours, just jumping out of the water, doing backflips with some s- swimming guy at your mouth, do a triple backflip corkscrew, and just be like, yeah, having a good
So you
time.
were saying you were an elder shark. Is that
Yeah.
the biggest version of the shark you can be?
No. I'm
No,
my shark right now is about 20 feet long. He's big, but I mean,
that's
you
still
start out, you're
incredible.
like a foot and a half long. You're tiny.
Okay,
And
so in that video where you're playing the mother,
yeah,
like compared to that, how big are you right now?
I am okay. It's actually kind of tricky because they have it set up to where it's like you every time you level up, every single time your shark levels up from doing missions or side quests, eating anything, you get XP for every like thing you eat. Every time you level up, your shark actually gets a little bit bigger, and that's really cool. So it's like, so if I say, hey, I'm a level 22, whatever, and you're like, hey, I'm a 24, even though we're both technically adult sharks, your shark's bigger. And and the way that they do it though is that every I don't know, I'm not gonna say exactly the number, but every so many levels is like, so say level 20, say okay, so say you're a teenage shark and you're level 19 and you
Right.
hit level 20. That's whenever you'll grow into an adult shark, and when you grow into an adult shark, it'll change some of the features of your shark. His eyes will look a bit older, the jaw, the mouth will look more menacing, and like a more adult looking shark. And that's not just bigger. And then as the adult grows, every level it'll be a bigger version of the adult until eventually he turns into the elder. And then after that, I don't know what's after that, but I know I'm not a mega yet. And so that's
Yeah, that's the part. Please tell me you're going to release a video when you hit max
I
size,
I was like, I
because
don't know if
I
anybody will
desperately
watch
want
it
to
because
see.
I'm waiting for the patch to come out. That's gonna allow me to keep playing on my Xbox One X,
Right.
but I'll do it for you. I'll be
Thank
like,
you.
this is me playing as a mega, eating fat people on their inflatable unicorns.
That really bums me out that it has such a like debilitating. Yeah, that's right. Debilitating, issue like that, because I'd love to watch more of that. That
Yeah,
that video was it was hilarious.
yeah, and I am too, because it's weird because it actually scared the crap out of me. Because when I was playing it that opening night, I was having a great time, and my Xbox would just shut off. My Xbox One X, it would just power off, and then I turn it back on, and it said your Xbox has shut itself off to prevent itself from overheating. And I was like, why is my Xbox doing this? I take really good care of all my stuff. I literally have a can of air in my office that I use to clean out all of my, my Xbox, my PlayStation, my computer, my laptop, everything,
And if I
and
remember right, it sits on your desk, so it's not like
yeah,
it's
oh yeah,
covered
it's
up
not
or anything, so it's
enclosed.
able to breathe.
It's got plenty of room to breathe. And I was like, what's wrong with my Xbox? But then I end up finding out the next day that it was not my Xbox, it's that game.
That's the
And
game.
the devs of Maneater said that we realized there's an issue with the Xbox One X in particular, not the S or the original Xbox model, just the Xbox One X, where something's going on behind the scenes, or it makes your Xbox think it's overheating and shuts off. And so
Hmm.
I was like, well, thank God it's not my Xbox. And they said they're going to have a patch out for it by the end of this week. And so I've been playing on technically my wife's Xbox, and enjoying it, from time to time. But
Yeah.
I would have beaten it long ago if I was able to actually sink and
That's so
play it in
weird
my
that
office.
games like that and Modern Warfare, like the way that they interact with the OS of the Xbox, it causes the Xbox to malfunction. I find
It's
that
so
so
weird.
interesting and weird, because we were talking before we started recording, Modern Warfare had the issue where it was shutting off, like completely shutting off Xboxes
Yep.
just out of the blue. And it's like I'm so curious what part of the game is the reason behind that.
Yeah, and it's so weird that it's the newest Xbox. It's the Xbox One
Yeah.
X. So it's like, what's the X got going on that it's making this
Yeah,
able to
that makes
happen, but
sense
not on the
too.
S or the
Like,
original?
what extra component of the Xbox is the game reading that makes the Xbox think, "Oh crap, I'm overheating. I need to shut off now."
Yeah,
That's
it
yeah.
was bad. Like, I'd play 3 minutes of Maneater, pew, shuts off. I'd go and I'd play an hour and a half of Modern Warfare, and it would be fine. And that's one thing is weird, is Maneater was never, the fan was never getting loud. I would never hear the fan when I was playing Maneater. But when I boot up Modern Warfare, just going into the main menu, the fan is like, woo, it's going hard, But then once I start playing, it quiets down. Which I don't understand that at all. But yeah, Maneater, the fan was never blowing loud. It's just something trips inside the Xbox when you're playing Maneater, and I'm just happy that Tripwire acknowledged, yeah, okay, yeah, we have a problem and they're gonna fix it. So by the end of this week, I'll be able to dive back in and finish up Maneater.
On a complete side note, I just happened to look up as you were talking, and I looked at my Declaration of Independence and had Halsey and Master Chief's signature.
We want to dive into that. That's one of my favorite stories of all time.
Dude, that story. I mean, we're at 30 minutes. Yeah, we can. I can tell the story real quick.
Do it.
Okay, so
what we did.
We took a day trip to Chicago,
and we don't live near Chicago.
We don't live near Chicago. We live in Columbia. So we took well, here's the thing. We live in Columbia, or I live in Columbia, and you live kind of southern Missouri. We drove to Kansas City and then flew to Chicago, went to the Halo event that they were having. Like they had that limited run of traveling Halo events. What was it called again?
Halo Outpost Discovery.
That's right. Halo Outpost Discovery. We flew there, did the entire Outpost Discovery in a day, and then flew back the same day. But the best part about it is that
and landed in the same day. We just spent the day in Chicago like it was going to the park.
The best part about it, our main goal for that entire time was to get signatures from Master Chief and Cortana, which is the coolest thing ever. Like when you originally hit me with this idea, immediately I'm thinking, this idea is so, because you're like, we're literally going to fly there, and the main reason we're flying there is because I want to get a signed autograph from Steve Downs, and I can't remember her name, unfortunately. Jen Taylor, and fly back. What do you think? You in? And I thought to myself, no lie, dude. I'm like, that is the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard, but so ridiculous that I want to do it. So I'm like, yes. So we flew to Chicago in one day. It was freaking awesome. And we went to this Outpost Discovery. We sat in line for, I would say, about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, no, dude. We got there. We sat there for about 2.5 hours before they let us in. And because the thing is, we showed up.
That's right.
And we were in the overflow line. They said, hey, guys, you can wait here to meet the voices of Master Chief Cortana, but there's no guarantee you can meet them because they're only going to allow 100 signatures, and we were in the overflow line. So they say if they have time extra, we'll get to you. And then about 30 minutes after they told us that, they cut the line off 10 people behind us and said, you guys, there's no chance. And for the people that remain, they said there is a slight chance that you guys can meet him. We waited, and then they let us. They're like, all right, one at a time. They funneled us in to meet him.
So to flash back about a couple weeks before we actually flew, we were kind of talking back and forth and talking about what we're going to have them sign. And you were telling me what you were going to have them sign. I'm like, man, that's really awesome. I don't know what I want to have them sign. And I was like, man, I want to think of something different because everyone's going to have some sort of Halo memorabilia. I just want to have something out there for them to sign. And the reason I thought that is for some reason, when we were talking about it, I thought of that moment where, what's his name? Will Ferrell's character from Step Brothers, where he had Randy Jackson sign the samurai sword.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why'd you have him sign a samurai sword? He's like, I don't know. I had it on me at the time. And that's that's where I got the idea. And we're sitting there talking about it, texting back and forth. And I'm looking around my office and I locked eyes with my replica Declaration of Independence that I have in a frame above my desk. And I'm like, oh my God, Alex, I just found it. And you're like, what? I'm like, I'm going to have him sign the Declaration of Independence. And you love the idea. I love the idea. And we're sitting in line. We end up, meeting with these dudes that run a pretty large Facebook group, which is awesome. And they were kind of showing off what they're going to have signed. And then you're like, hey, Jake, show them what you're going to have them sign. And I whip it out and it's the Declaration. And they're the only ones to know at the time. So we finally get, after hours of waiting, we finally get in. We're getting a sign. You go up, you're having your moment. It's awesome. And then I come up behind you and
I
And
saw
they're
you
like,
had
hey,
it out. And I was like, here we go.
and they're like, okay, awesome. What are you gonna have a sign today? Nice to meet you. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you too. And I can get both your signatures. Yeah, yeah. And so I'm okay. Well, and they're like, what are you gonna have a sign? I'm like, well, this. And Jen Taylor like starts to unroll it, and she's like, "Is this the Declaration of Independence?" And
You're
I'm like, "Yes, it
goddamn
is.
right.
Yes, it is." And and Steve Downs looks over as she's handing it to him. He's like, well, "What do we sign? Is this the Declaration of Independence?" I'm like, "Yes. If you can sign under the names, I'd appreciate it." He's like, "Really?" He's like, "Awesome."
He
And I
signed right
just,
next to the other founding fathers, and
oh
you
my
have
goodness.
that framed on your wall.
I have that framed in my wall where Jen Taylor and Steve Downs are part of the founding fathers of the Declaration of Independence. And I knew, like, I personally thought it was the best idea ever, and I knew for a fact, can confirm that it was an exceptional idea, because as I walked out, I had it unscrolled, looking at it as I walked by, showing you, and then people in the line that were waiting behind us, they're like, dude, that's the Declaration of Independence. Dude, you just had him sign the Declaration.
Like, what else
And
did you have him
then
sign?
like one guy stopped us. He's like, hey, what did you have him sign? And I turned around and just held it out for him. I said, I had him sign the Declaration of Independence. And they all cheered.
Yep.
That's how I knew right then and there that was the best. That was the best idea. And now I can sit there and look at it.
Yeah, yeah, and just like 60 seconds after that, we were all pretty, starstruck. Like we flew all the way here from Missouri. We almost didn't get to meet him. Like, I'm telling you, like, if we would have got there like 5 minutes in line later, we would have been a part of the
Yeah.
cutoff line. We wouldn't have met happen. And so we flew up there. We met him. Everything worked out. And then as we're leaving, I look over and there's Frank O'Connor, one of the people who made the original. He's in all those Halo Vidocs, for Halo 2 and Halo 3. And he was just walking like out of the restroom. And I was like, oh my God, that's Frank O'Connor. And then I got him to sign
Can I
my
just
stuff
say
too.
too,
What's that?
what a cool guy Frank
Yeah.
Connor was. Like he's literally coming out of the bathroom, vulnerable by himself,
Yeah,
and
I
he
acted
has
like
about
I let him get 10, 15 feet away from the
yeah,
bathroom so that I acted like I didn't see him come out of the bathroom. I didn't want to
right.
ambush him at the door, but I was like,
Because everyone else did. He had like 10 or 12 people, and you were lucky enough to be one of them that got a signature, and everyone just kind of bombarded him. And like you said, you kind of waited a second, then kind of walked up. Oh, it's Frank Connor,
mm-hmm.
But it's like, what such a cool guy. Like he was on his way to a panel. Like he had to get set up for the panel, but he stuck by for like 5 minutes to sign autographs for people. Like,
He drew a Mr.
really
Chief
awesome.
on my
Yeah,
poster.
yeah. Like what an awesome guy. Like to
You know,
do that for the community
yeah,
too.
for sure. And you know what my favorite part about what he said was?
What's
He
that?
whenever because I didn't have a pen on me and or a marker, to sign, and nobody else did. And he's like, you know what? I'll go steal one from Master Chief or from Steve Downs real quick. And everyone was like, he's gonna go steal a marker from Steve Downs real quick. He'll be right back. But then someone else had a marker, and then
Yeah.
history's
So
history.
really awesome.
Yeah,
But
awesome. That was, and then we flew home.
I'm glad we told that story.
Yeah,
That's a great story.
yeah, that's definitely like I still like probably every few months I'll be sitting with Matthew, and I'll just be like, dude, I can't believe we got that at work, that whole day happened, and I can't believe it worked out. That's bizarre.
Yeah. Man, we do have some cool autographs. You have more than I do, but just,
Yeah,
Jen
my older
Taylor, Steve
brother
Downs,
came with,
and we got
who's not a
Rob
super Halo
Weedoff
fan,
and
and yeah, he got
yeah.
2 things signed. So I got something
So
signed, he got something signed, and he just gave it to me. So yeah,
super awesome.
yeah,
But Alex,
yeah.
you know what Frank Connor and Halo don't have in common with Call of Duty?
What's that? I mean, I could.
They didn't have a massive leak about about a potential game about Black Ops. I
Yeah.
don't know what I tried to find some sort of
Yeah, it's like if
transition.
what I would do for a goddamn Halo Infinite leak,
Oh my god, could you imagine? Yeah, like
dude. It comes out this year, this holiday.
It comes out this year, and we know literally nothing about it.
No, we don't know a
Like,
damn thing. And I love
if
it.
you would have
I
thought about
love
it, right?
that, but I'm dying.
If here's what I'm wondering is if we're gonna get something next week, because next week I think technically was E3.
No,
I think
they actually confirmed we're getting the Halo Infinite gameplay reveal in July. We just don't know when.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
well,
it's happening.
well. That's my thing. Is I'm pretty sure E3 was like next week technically before they
Yeah,
canceled it,
mid
and
June. Yeah,
we would have seen something.
yeah.
So I'm excited to see Halo Infinite in July.
I'm excited and nervous at the same time because as long as we haven't seen any gameplay or anything, it's still a good game.
Yeah,
You know, it's the mystique is still there. But that's the thing.
the aesthetic of that opening trailer sold me
Yeah,
alone. It's like when as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, I could see gameplay, but I know for a fact this game's going to be good because that version of Master Chief is exactly what the community wanted. Like that's what they wanted. And if they were willing
yeah,
to disregard that aesthetic from Halo 4 and 5 to go back to that, I mean, they're listening to what the community
yeah.
wants for this game.
Yeah, for sure. And the way I've always kind of seen it is like, I've talked my fair amount of shit on Halo 4, Halo 5, and I mean, my opinion of Halo Infinite wasn't really, the next game wasn't really looking up, And then we got the first two trailers. And I feel, and I know we've talked about this before, but it's like if you are going to be, even if you're not a content creator or anything like that, if you are going to be, going around and talking shit about, all the negativity around a game or a movie or whatever, because negativity sells, and it's popular, then
Yeah.
I feel like you completely discredit yourself if you don't talk about the things they do right. So it's like Halo Infinite, or Halo 4 and 5. There's plenty of things that I don't like about those games that make them detour too far away from what the classic Halo games did right. Why I love Halo in the first place. And then Halo Infinite releases these two trailers. You see the aesthetic of this alien world that just hits you right in your nostalgia. Master Chief is looking amazing. They reverted back to what everyone wanted to see, and the music and score, it's the Believe, from Halo 3, and and then also the cinematic trailer where we saw where we saw Master Chief and that guy and the Pelican in space. I was like, dude, I care more about that pilot already from this trailer than I ever cared about all of Osiris and Blue Team.
Yeah.
Like
I
100%.
totally
He
agree.
had more character, and I just care. And that's the thing. He's like, yeah, I could talk crap about Halo 4 and 5 all day, and then as far as Halo Infinite, it's like, dude, they've done nothing except fan service. I have nothing bad to say about the game. So, yes, I'm very excited. I'm very nervous because of the past two games, but I believe this is the longest development time a Halo game has ever had, ever. And it's not by like a tiny margin. It's almost give it another year, it'd be double the dev time of any Halo game.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
believe that they used
when
that dev
did
time to
5
create a
come out?
better
It was like
game.
2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, Halo 5 came out in 2015. It'll be 5 years, and they usually are on a 3-year cycle. And so, yeah, it's almost had twice. Like I said, give it another year, it'll have twice the dev time as any Halo game. And I hope they use that dev time to create a game that, blows us away. And I can't wait to see more.
I can't wait either.
Yeah.
But let's take the last whatever minutes we'll have left and you said you wanted to talk about Black Ops a little bit.
Yeah. I recently made a video on the channel going into
What was that channel again?
Oh yeah, you forget every episode. I seems.
I know. Me and my
live
short
from my
term.
basement. Live from my
Okay,
basement on
cool.
YouTube. Check us out.
YouTube.com/live from my basement. Cool, got it. I just wanted
make
to
all
double
kinds
check.
of stuff over there. Jake's on there too from time to time. We have
Cool.
fun. Check it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, the one not the newest video, but the one before, or maybe the one before that, I don't remember. But I go into because I was thinking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare and how much I love that game. And it's like I wouldn't say like I feel like it's the best Call of Duty game that we've gotten in years and years, like for real. And there's so many staples that, or so many things that Modern Warfare brought to the table that I believe should be staples in a Call of Duty going forward. First of all, I can't imagine a Call of Duty going forward that doesn't have something like the gunsmith. Like, how could you, follow up Modern Warfare and not have the gunsmith? How
Yeah.
can you, after having the crazy, eerie, tense, slower paced campaign, how can you jump back to Black Ops 3 crazy, like Michael Bay style chaos? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's like you can't
Which
follow up one of the
which
best.
in all honesty, Modern Warfare did have that Michael Bay esque to it to a degree. But no, but I see what you're saying. Not to the level that some of the past few games have
Oh yeah,
had.
for
It's
sure. I
it
mean,
is
like
more grounded.
they literally slowed your character down just to slow the pace.
Yeah.
Like it's and they oh man, it's crazy. And I feel like that they've set a dark tone that's just so suspenseful and eerie. That's like, man, I want more of that. I know we're gonna get another Modern Warfare when Infinity Ward, it's their turn again. But
Mhm.
that I want a great, eerie, tense campaign that's serious and dark. I want things like the Gunsmith, Ground War, a brand new mode that's basically like took a page out of Battlefield's book. Huge maps, domination that grabbed a lot of the Battlefield players and brought them to Call of Duty because Battlefield's kind of been shit in the bed lately. And now those players are going to want that. They're going to want that. They're going to want the Gunsmith. They're going to want the campaigns. They're going to want the fact that there's no season pass in Modern Warfare. They instead have the Game Pass, which is like, you get skins and cosmetics, but all the maps are free in Modern Warfare. How can you go back on these huge decisions that Modern Warfare has set for itself?
I mean, you can't.
You can't. And now here's the tricky part. Call of Duty 2020, or as the leaks are saying, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is, I'm not going to say it's
See,
an awful name, but good God. It's like you could
that's
abbreviate every
so
Call of Duty. COD MW, MW2, MW3, AW. It's like, and this one's
that's so funny.
COD BOCW.
See, that's so funny. And maybe I thought I heard something a while back, but I was literally just thinking as you were talking. I'm like, man, I mean, it's cool that it'll be another like Black Ops game, and maybe it'll go back to basics with Black Ops. But it'd
Mm-hmm.
be really cool for them to do something different, like the Cold War or Vietnam.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
literally what I was thinking. So yeah, Cold War. I mean,
Yeah.
Cold War would be awesome. I just
And
wish they wouldn't have used the. I mean, I get why they're using the name because it's Black Ops, and you
right.
say Black Ops just same way you say Modern Warfare, and you automatically automatically guarantee at least 3 million copies.
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, for sure. Yeah, but my big thing is that I actually, because the way I ended it before, it almost sounded like I didn't want it to be a Cold War thing. I actually think that's a badass idea. If we get the level of detail and content that we get on Modern Warfare, I would love a dark, gritty, eerie, tense Cold War style Call of Duty game. In Vietnam, dude, and oh
you
my
know,
god, I would love it. I would
the one
love it.
thing,
Have the
and I love
gunsmith.
I love the idea of going back to like a certain era like
Uh huh.
that. And I guess it wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world because, Black Ops, OG Black Ops did it really well. But the thing that is tough is that you're limited to the technology at the time.
Right.
So it's like, and that's where I think, Battlefield in particular ran into this problem big time because you had Battlefield 4, which had so much customization that you could literally have a every single player could have a different gun set up because of the amount of customization. And even the police one, Hardline, had a pretty robust customization too because it was all set modern, so you
Right.
could go through all the modern attachments and stuff. And but World War One, Battlefield One, it dialed it back. There wasn't as many weapons and attachments because you were kind of limited to the technology at the time. And I feel like Battlefield 5 was the same way. And that's the only thing that bothers me when games go back to to an era, because you're not going to get that customization that you get from having a modern era game. So you have to nail it in a different area. And I think that's where, in my opinion, Battlefield 5 failed, because they didn't have the customization that they could have in a modern Battlefield game, but the gunplay wasn't there to pick up that portion that was lost. Does that make
Right.
sense?
I mean,
And
I
and
I
that's
I,
and
uh,
that's the
I
thing that I worry about if they go back to a game like this. That, okay, well, you're going to have the gunsmith, but you're not going to have near as much customization in the
right.
gunsmith, so you have to pick it up in a different part of the game.
Yeah. I that's a good point. I mean, I personally don't know enough about the era as far as like weapon attachments and stuff like that to be like, yeah, there's tons of stuff you can do, or there's not that much you can do. I mean, if they do the research, I imagine they can find a good bit. But
Yeah,
my biggest concern with Call of Duty 2020 is like, like I said, if they can keep the level of quality that Modern Warfare had, get rid of the season pass, continue with the battle pass that they've been doing. That's great. It's pro consumer.
yeah,
Have a great campaign. Don't cut it out like you did like Treyarch did with the previous Black Ops. Innovate on the multiplayer. Like, give us cool new modes like Ground War. And, because I mean, like I said before, Black Ops 4 cut out its campaign to give us a battle royale. Modern Warfare has one of the best campaigns ever, and a battle royale, and no season pass, and all these great multiplayer innovations like the gunsmith. And it's like, I want all these great things in a Cold War style game. But here's the hard truth. And that's the fact that this year's Call of Duty was Sledgehammer Games' turn. They have 3 dev teams that are making Call of Duty games, and this is supposed to be the team's turn that made us Call of Duty World War II. And they basically said that they couldn't get it out, but I don't know the ins and outs, but they basically are delaying their game to next year. And Treyarch, the dev team that gives us Black Ops, goes, hey, we'll swoop in and we'll release our game 2020, which basically means they took an entire year off their development cycle. How
yeah.
can Call of Duty 2020 compete with the amazing innovations that Modern Warfare had and literally take a year off its dev time?
Well, I mean,
A
what's the
year.
best way to what's the best way to put this? I mean, I could see it realistically happening, because I mean, how long before they started this, before Modern Warfare reboot had this brand new game engine, like how long did they use and reuse that decade old game engine to pump out game year after year after year? Like,
Yeah.
I get that they had these 3-year cycles or whatever, but I mean, the groundwork for the game is already there. It's just putting a different coat of paint on it. And I think that's where I get a little worried, is this, Call of Duty 2020 is not going to innovate as much as Modern Warfare did.
Like at
Because
the
not only
best.
because of the dev time, but
Yeah.
because they have this new engine, and like, oh, we've got this new engine. We used the old one for,
Yep.
15 years or so,
Yeah.
and we sold 5 million, 7 to 10 million copies every single year. Like, we've got this game engine now. That's a great game engine. We can use this for the next 15 years, and we know for a fact, based on our numbers, we're going to do great.
Yeah.
So that's what worries me, is
Yeah. It's
the
like that.
innovation's not going to be there.
Yeah. It's like the best we can hope for is equal to what we have. And I
And I
mean,
hope
I
I'm
want a
wrong,
great
because
story
I
with great
would,
characters and all these innovations.
yeah,
And I don't. And another weird thing to think about is, imagine Call of Duty 2020 comes out, or Black Ops Cold War, whatever it's called, and it's amazing. It's
yeah.
really good. The
I
only thing I'm gonna be
mean,
able to think in my back of my head is, how good would it be if they had another year?
yeah,
And then
exactly.
what the hell
That's
are they
true.
doing? With their dev time, they're just like sitting around twiddling their thumbs till it's time to release, or what?
That's what makes me worried about it too. Just, I mean, especially with it having the label of Black Ops. Like, I think of it being a reboot. I mean, I would assume it's going to be a reboot of some sort,
I would hope so.
because
Do what Modern
of
Warfare
Modern
did for
Warfare.
Black Ops. Bring back Frank
But
Woods and Alex Mason, all those classic characters, and just tell a new story.
and that's the thing, the story, on the story part of it, like, they have a large shoe to fill, because
Oh, yeah.
Black Ops 1, in my opinion, had one of the best stories in the
Hell
Call of
yeah,
Duty
dude.
franchise
It
so
had
far.
freaking balls, dude.
I mean, especially the twist at the end
That's what I was talking
is,
about. It's like, dude, you
yeah,
killed JFK.
like,
Balls, my dude.
that's the
Good
thing,
God.
and you have to live up to that story. Like, you're calling your game, you've got this brand new engine. You're coming off the coattails of Modern Warfare that, critically
Just killed
was
it.
critically acclaimed, just killed it. The community loves it. And everyone loves the story of that game. Now you come out with Black Ops Cold War, if that's what it ends up being. Now you have to deliver. Like you can't look at Black Ops 4 and say we got to build off of this. You have to go back to basics, and you have to have that story, and you have to have I would say the caliber of story that Black Ops the original Black
Oh yeah,
Ops 1 had.
yeah.
And yeah,
Dude, I love
it's going to be tough, especially with having a year less in development time. I'm
the,
nervous,
me too, dude.
because I want it to be good. I would love to have another, Black Ops game to the quality of story and gameplay as Modern Warfare. Like
Hell yeah,
that
dude.
was, I mean, I
That
would
gets me
love that in a
so
heartbeat.
excited. But just to think about that, it's got a year off its dev time. It's like, man,
Yeah,
this is so ambitious and it could be so good. It's like, and they're not giving it, and that's the time that it deserves, to be as great as it can be. Because I've talked to people about this before. I was like, dude, if there was ever a year to take off making a
yeah.
Call of Duty game, it's now. Modern Warfare is doing so good. Keep supporting that for the next year. I mean, I know Infinity Ward wants to work on Modern Warfare 2, but it's like, dude, we're happy.
And we could be looking at this the wrong way too. Like maybe they got access to the new engine the same time. Maybe they had a team that got access to the engine the same time that the Modern Warfare dev team did, and maybe they've been working on this game for the same amount of time.
I mean, it's
And
possible.
when they had the opportunity to take it, to get a year, get it out a year sooner, like yeah, we had just as much dead time that Modern Warfare Remastered had. So, we can do it. We had an extra year polish,
Yeah, I
so
hope
it
so,
could
dude.
be that, it could be that, but
Because I feel like the worst case scenario is that this game comes out and it just underperforms. And you feel that lack of a year, because I feel like this would be a Call of Duty game that if it went to its full potential could be awesome. Just great Call of Duty edition. And I just hope that I hope they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
hope that we just don't understand, and that they had it all under control, and that we're gonna see a great Call of Duty game. I hope so. But like I said, the whole premise of the video and my concerns is that Modern Warfare just killed it, and
yeah. Modern Warfare
somebody's got to follow
19,
it. And it just happens to be a team that's following it that doesn't have the best reputation right now, because they cut their campaign to give us a battle royale, whereas Modern Warfare gave us a battle royale, a great campaign, gunsmith, multiplayer things. Just change the
Modern Warfare
franchise for better.
19
And now
got me
they're
to got me to buy another Call of Duty game.
dude.
And
Yeah.
that's the first one that I bought in a few years, man.
I,
And
I
and I'll
bought
and I'll
Black
tell
Ops
you what,
4.
it's gonna after playing Modern Warfare 19 and having it held in such high regard in terms of story, gameplay, and just aesthetic, and how much it did, like it's gonna take Black Ops, whatever this Black Ops Cold War is, it's gonna take a lot more than Modern Warfare to sell me on this game,
Oh yeah,
because it's like, okay, like I hold Modern Warfare at this level. You're gonna have to exceed that to get my attention.
for sure. And I mean, one thing that I am kind of anxious to see is that Treyarch is like the grandfather of zombies for Call of Duty, and I love zombies. So I'm like, can you imagine
Yeah,
if Modern Warfare had zombies? What that would look like? So if they go the Modern Warfare route, dude, I'm
yeah.
excited. I am excited. I'm just nervous.
It's interesting. It's more like nervous excitement,
Oh,
because you don't know what's going to happen. Like I was like, what, they took off a year of their development. Like what what does that mean? What's
Yeah.
going to happen now? Like you don't know what this game is now.
It makes me like, wonder what the hell Sledgehammer's game is. Like what's the
Yeah,
Call of Duty 2021?
or
If
what issues they
what
had.
are they working on where they're like, hey, we need another year.
Maybe they're taking that year to optimize their game better.
Oh gosh.
Maybe they saw the release of Call of Duty and they went back to the drawing board. They're like,
Oh, they're
okay,
like, okay,
we've
guys,
got this game
we're
pretty
gonna get
much done.
laughed out of here if we don't
We're
change this up.
we've got the game done, guys. Like they go to Activision and say, look, we have the game done. The only thing is we don't want to release it in 20 different installs. so so can we
Oh
get
yeah.
an extra year to properly optimize this game? And
So we can
So
deliver it like not a piece of shit.
like so we can deliver a game like professionals.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, just kind of commenting on what you just said. Is like I clicked on Modern Warfare. This was like last night, and I went to the main menu, and it said, "Please install your multiplayer," and I was like, "Go to hell."
Dude, I almost did not. In the most recent update that was like 30 gigs,
Uh huh.
I almost did not install it. I almost just flat out uninstalled the game
Yeah.
because it came like 2 weeks after like a 17 or 18 gig update, and I'm like, "No, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting another, 2 days of my life to get this 30 gig update to come down." Like, no.
Yeah.
I was close. I was close. I don't think I'd
I
be able to do it
literally kept it
again.
up to date because Matthew told me that they added one in the chamber, and I was like, "Well, if we can ever get a night where we get the boys together and play some one in the chamber, that'll be a good time."
Dude, let me know. When Tim's down, Matt's down, Zach, Ethan, you let me know. I am all about one in the chamber.
Let's do it.
You hit me up. So before we end, do you have anything in the pipeline? Anything new coming in for live from my day? Live from my basement.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple things. Basically, what's going on is I want to cover the newest Battle Pass season of Modern Warfare, which is weird for me because I don't make a whole lot of Call of Duty content, but
Right.
the next Call of Duty season adds Captain Price as the a new operator, and I was like, hell yeah,
Of
my
course it
boy!
does.
I know, I was like, my boy. I was like, I'll get it. And then I'll play one in the chamber, but
Yeah,
and I might do a one in the chamber because I do like get our crew together and we're all gonna play one in the chamber. If we're streaming that shit, dude, we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a
dude.
funny video.
Yeah.
And then other than that, uh I'm wanting to go and because I have a lot of fans that watch for Battlefront related stuff, and I've been trying to think of creative ways to now that Battlefront 2 support's ending to create more Battlefront content. And one of the things I'm wanting to do is to stream and maybe even have like you in it or somebody, and we'll go and we'll play the older Battlefront games, kind of like when we did the Trench Run in
Mhm.
2020. That actually got a decent amount of views for what it was, and I was like,
We
we
should
should do
have
more of that kind of stuff.
we should
And
do like some sort of like RP light
oh yeah,
videos. I
oh
think that'd be
yeah,
kind of fun.
oh
Like
yeah,
the video I sent you of the the heroes 1v1ing, and they were talking to each other before they
yeah,
started fighting,
yeah.
and
Those are awesome.
they weren't like force spamming. They were just like legit,
Dueling.
just legit dueling. It
Oh
looked
yeah,
really cool. Like I
yeah, dude,
that'd be
I'd be
fun
down.
too.
Oh yeah, I'd totally be
But
down for that. But yeah, going back to like the older Battlefront games, even Battlefront 2015, and playing some of those modes on those maps. I talked about in a lot of videos over the past year and a half, being like, man, I love Battlefront 2, but God, I really wish it had some like the Hoth on Battlefront 2015 was so much better. And I was like, I
yeah,
wish that we had that, and Walker Assault I missed. I was like, dude, I kind of want to play that shit now. And I was like,
we
that'd be
got a
fun to
couple
go
years.
back and play that old stuff.
We
And
got
then
a
even the
couple years
classic
before the
Battlefront
next
games.
one. But yeah.
Yeah. Those are just a couple plans off, that I've been kind of mulling around.
Well, everyone, I actually looked at the analytics. There are a couple people listening.
Woo!
I've seen a
Hello.
couple. So I don't know
If
where
you
they
made it
come
to the
from.
end of this hour-long podcast,
Dude,
what are you
they're
wearing?
getting like incrementally longer, and about an hour is where I want to
We had a
keep
lot to
it
talk about.
because yeah, we did have a lot to talk about. The upload though, after it gets to an hour, takes quite a while. So,
You're right.
but it is what it is. Sometimes
It's
we
time
just
to
have
say
fun.
goodnight.
I ain't about rules, and when we break rules, we break rules. Come
I
at me,
remember when we
bro.
first started doing these, and you're like, yeah, they'll be like a half hour. Ha! Ah, ha, ha. Good one.
I think the first one was 40. Like I was like, well, we're gonna try to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes. Boom, 49 minutes.
Boom.
Yeah.
And we're like, we didn't have that much to talk about either. Good God. We can just
Well,
talk about anything. It probably would have been about right if we would have took the Halo part out. Man, that could have been its own podcast.
dude, it might have. You know what we might need to do?
In July,
Like,
after they do Tease Infinite, we just have Halo, Halo, Halo.
let, here's okay. I got an idea. Let's Halo Infinite. Let's have an own like a special podcast where we get you, we got me. Try to get Matt in too,
Okay,
and we'll kind of talk about that day in detail.
dude, for sure.
I
Let's do
think
it.
that'd be really fun. And we'll that one we'll kind of shoot the shit and let it go on and just kind of talk. So
Right on, man. Let's do it. I love how these podcasts go from like, hey, we're on topic, we're talking about, the things that we want to cover, and then like for more all the time, kind of like everything we just talked about. We're making plans. This is just us having a conversation.
yeah, but hey, you know what?
The whole podcast is us. Well, these are what we want to talk about. We'll talk about anything else.
I'm Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon. Okay, I'm a loose cannon. If I want to stay on topic, we'll stay on topic. If I want to go, take a 10-minute tangent and talk about Chicago, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it.
Who's going to stop me?
Well, everyone, I'll try this one more time. Everyone, that was episode 6. Thank you for listening. Please leave a rating on iTunes, 5 stars. Hopefully, let us know what you think. Let us know what we can improve on. Uploads of the podcast go up every Sunday, with the YouTube version following on every Monday around 8. That's youtube.com/pixelbeasts or search Pixel Beasts in iTunes. Also, you can find Alex on youtube.com/live from my basement. He makes awesome content there too. So yeah, check everything out. I feel more chill than the past couple ones. I've been so energized, and this one I'm just so chill. So
just totally blitzed.
Not yet. Okay. All right. See ya, everyone.
Bye-bye.